Are we accidental Muslims? Assalamu alaikum and good greetings. So in this video I would like to focus on that question, and this is directed to Muslim out there, including my students, of course. Are we simply just accidental Muslim? Now, I remember when I was back, when I was in my undergraduate study, there's a lecturer that asked me similar question, right? His question is actually something like this. Okay, can you tell me when exactly did you decide to become a Muslim? Can you specify when, or the date, or the time period? Now, at that time I was puzzled because I was born into a Muslim family and grew up as a Muslim, and that's the only identity I know of. And all of us that was asked is in the same boat, in the same condition, right? We were born into Muslim family, brought up as Muslim, and now we are in university. We have never think about anything else. But his question pinpoints something important that we have to realize that it is so important. Because Islam, by definition, is submission, right? One of the definition that is core is submission, surrender. It is an active action, right? When you say, okay, I decide to surrender myself or submit myself to the one true God, one true Lord, one true creator of this universe, right? We consciously and purposely decide to submit, right? It is different than, coincidentally, I was born into this thing, this culture, I follow through, I follow the trend. Coincidentally, my action mirror the action of those who submit to the creator, right? Coincidentally, it's the same. It seems like we are doing the same thing, but just that he's doing it because he wants to submit, while I'm doing it coincidentally because that's the culture that I know, and it has become something I do as a culture, I do as a habit, right? Why is it important? Because normally, especially when you are facing, a dilemma, a choice to make, issue of prioritizing something, right? Things like that, right? It will go down back to why in the first place you are doing this thing, right? If you have made the decision to submit myself, my action, my will, my thoughts, my mind, my heart to the creator, then everything that is from the creator, it is meaning I will follow as part of my submission. But if this is just because I'm in this culture and everyone is doing it, I'm just doing it, no problem is it, I don't see any problem, it's not that difficult to do, I just follow through. But if the culture changes, where will you change? Or if you suddenly is in a different environment, etc., 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 right? So that's where it's easy to see how some people, if you see it throughout his life, it seems like, wait a minute, I know him a Muslim thus far, right? But suddenly why did he change? Because all of those are just habitual actions or cultural actions or coincidental actions, right? So, and that's my worry, right? Year in, year out, semester in, semester out, I face in front of me in my class a lot of Muslim students. But when we discuss, when we have dialogue, when we converse, in some cases it becomes apparent that they haven't yet made that choice. They haven't yet, make that decision. They haven't had that deep thought of evaluating what is the truth, finding the truth until you find it, you are convinced by it, and you decide that this is where I will put all my effort in, right? So that's why it's easy. I still remember in our university where you have the name of Islamic University, right? And we have the final exam in the month of Ramadan. People are fasting, and yet at that time people are copying from each other, taking, cheating and whatever, right? So it doesn't make sense. How can someone on one hand says I pray 5 times a day as my submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but at the same time I do something that is clearly against the command of Allah, cheating in the exam. It doesn't make sense, but it does if that person pray 5 times a day, etc. Coincidentally, they haven't made the choice, I want to submit everything to Allah, right? So this thing, no, I shouldn't do it, I shouldn't, right? So I hope that, especially because my concern about my students is because if I don't do anything and they come to my class and then graduate from my class and they haven't been impacted in any way, or I haven't made any effort to, you know, trigger, spark some interest, etc. in them, can I answer if I'm being asked in the hereafter? Right? If any of those, you know, na'uzubillah, something happened that the trajectory of their life changes, can I answer? Right? So that's why I become quite interested to know how to at least reach out. And obviously we cannot force, la ikrah fid din, right? They do not want to care about their afterlife or hereafter or whatever. It's their own choice, they have to answer about that. But if I don't even make the you know, reaching out, I have to answer on that part, right? So that's why, if you have been my student, you have seen, meaning from different semester, I'm trying with different ways. Sometimes there's a semester where I'm quite forceful, meaning that in the quiz, in the engineering quiz, I embedded question about Islam. But I know the reaction is quite negative, etc. Why? We are learning engineering. Why you are forcing us to learn Islam? Something like that, right? And I have changes my approach, etc. I'm not sure what is the best approach yet. I'm still experimenting. This semester in particular, I just make an offer, whoever is interested. So things like that. But hopefully, at the end of the day, we care so much about each other, of course, and we cannot, you know, disturb our heart if we see someone in front of us not caring about things that so much importance to them, especially in the hereafter, right? So that's just sharing the concern. I hope everyone can, you know, think back, when exactly have I decided that? And if you haven't, please go through that process, right? Why is it this? Why is this the truth? Why? Get the answer, find the answer, do the research, etc. until you become so convinced of the truth and you dedicate your life to it, inshallah. Wallahu alam. That's my comment here, my just sharing my feeling. Hopefully Allah will accept all of us, our deeds, inshallah. Wallahu alam. Thank you for watching. Do share if you have any idea of a more productive way to achieve what we want to achieve. Of course, I'm open to any suggestion and experimental. Thank you for watching. See you next time.